learning.
I just believe and hope and pray that justice will be served.
New developments in a fatal shooting that was captured on Q2's security cameras.
And a new future and purpose for the old Shrine Auditorium.
We want this to be a space not only, like I was saying, for celebration, to come together, to eat together, to dance together, but also to heal together.
The new Eagle Seeker Community Center opens its doors.
And the rescue of a puppy who got stuck in a drain pipe brings one Billings neighborhood together in celebration.
The MTN News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us on your Friday night. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Andrea Lutz. A major development tonight in the investigation into a road rage shooting, all of it caught on camera in downtown Billings.
Well, nearly 9 months after Michael Duran was shot and killed, we're learning a jury will help decide whether charges should be filed.
Our Jackie Coffin has more on this very unusual move in a story you'll only see here on Q2.
It was in this spot just behind me across the street at the intersection of 32nd and 4th that Michael Duran was shot several times and killed following a road rage incident on August 20th. As his family and friends continue to push for answers, the Yellowstone County Attorney's Office tells me they will have a major piece of evidence in this case before the anniversary of Duran's death.
I just believe and hope and pray that justice will be served.
Talking about her friend Michael Duran is bittersweet for Sabra Mack, who has been advocating for action in his case since he died 9 months ago.
You have to keep their name alive and honor them, because I don't want Michael's death to be in vain. I just don't.
Surveillance video picked up by our building's cameras shows a fight between two drivers, with the first punch being thrown by the driver who ultimately shot the 29-year-old. The two men fight for a while, then 9 shots are fired through the car window of the first driver, hitting and killing Duran. While surveillance video shows what happened, no arrests have ever been made. But there is a new big development in the case. Twito has now told Duran's family he will be taking a major and unusual step to try and gain more information.
A coroner's inquest is an investigative technique that's allowed in the state of Montana. It is an inquiry conducted by a coroner with assistance from the county attorney's office and looking at the facts and circumstances and events surrounding a person's death.
According to Montana state law, a coroner's inquest must be held following an officer-involved shooting or if a suspect dies while in custody. But calling for an inquest outside of that is uncommon.
I think we've done at least half dozen that don't involve an officer-involved shooting or a death down at the detention facility. If you included those, we do inquests quite a bit.
Twito says this case warrants one due to the question of self-defense.
So the coroner's jury, and I've invited them to do this, they can ask their own questions of the witness. They can ask their own questions of the coroner. What does this mean? They might ask questions of the county attorney. What does justifiable use of force mean? What does excessive force constitute? How do you know? All those questions are things I think that could be really insightful in this case.
Unlike a normal jury trial, jurors for the inquest will not be asked to decide if the shooter is guilty, nor does it bind Twito to bringing any charges forward one way or another. It's just another piece of evidence that could guide Twito as he decides whether to press charges.
And that insight can prove invaluable when you're investigating a situation like this.
Regardless, for Mac and Michael Duran's family, it's a positive step forward.
I do feel optimistic. I feel better, but I'm still fighting.
In Billings, Jackie Coffin, MTN News.
A man fleeing from Stillwater County deputies was killed late last night after crashing south of Columbus. The Montana Highway Patrol says that crash happened around 11:30 as deputies gave chase to a Ford F-350 heading northbound on Highway 78 near Whitebird Creek Road. MHP said the vehicle made a violent motion, then drifted off the road at a high rate of speed and crashed. The driver, who's not been named, was the only one inside and died on the scene after being ejected from the truck.
Several bills that made it through the legislature with support from both sides of the aisle won't get past the governor's desk, including one I recently told you about concerning funds allocated to the state hospital. I recently told you about how Nina DeMauro lost her brother, Lou, at the Spratt unit in 2021. Well, she's planning to bring a class action lawsuit against the state for malpractice. House Bill 29 would have transferred patients like Lou, a traumatic brain injury or dementia patient, from the state hospital to a more appropriate setting. Now, the governor says the measure could discharge vulnerable Montanans without guarantee that another appropriate placement exists.
Well, thousands of women will be taking over the streets of downtown Billings tomorrow morning for an annual tradition.
It's the 42nd Montana Women's Run, and we at Q2 are proud sponsors of this event, but we want to let you know that there are several streets that are going to be blocked off for the race.
So how's the weather shaping up? Let's check in with meteorologist Ed McIntosh for a look at how race day looks. Ed?
Russ and Andrea, the rain today was mainly across eastern Montana into the Dakotas. You see a few hundredths of an inch to 92 hundredths being reported in Williston, North Dakota. A couple of inches around Minot. In fact, we saw quite a bit of rain off into the Dakotas. Lighter rain showers in the short term, but what we're seeing is a rather unusual weather pattern. Notice this is the area where we saw some of the higher accumulations, 1-2 inches into some places for today. But watch as we take this through time heading into tomorrow. The heavier rain here, it's been lighter across the eastern plains, but the system actually backs back in across eastern Montana. Something rather unusual to have the system move off towards the east and then return. That could bring some higher elevation snow and scattered rain showers and some periods of wind with it as we start looking into tomorrow. So as far as the women's run goes, it doesn't look sloppy wet, but it certainly could be showery and there will be some wind. Weekend detailed forecast coming up.
Today in Billings, a groundbreaking event took place at the old Shrine Auditorium location for a new community center focused on Native American culture.
Our Kelsey Marison was there learning more about the new project from the Billings-based Native American Development Corporation.
Montana is home to more than 65,000 Native Americans, but with the state being so spread out, connecting with one another can be difficult. But this new community center is opening in Billings and will bring new opportunities for healing, connection, and cultural preservation.
We try to stay strong for each other, and it's not easy.
Montana has a large Native American population, but in a city like Billings, connecting with other Indigenous community members isn't always easy.
It's hard. It's frustrating.
Nancy Birdtail and her daughters Michaela and Camelia know that feeling all too well.
In the last 13 years, we have lost 9 people.
On April 27th, Nancy's brother, Ricky Peltier, suffered a massive stroke and ended up passing away.
My brother Ricky, he was very loving. We sure miss him.
He always wanted to help. No matter what it was, always.
The family are enrolled members of the Turtle Mountain Tribe, but the tribe is based out of North Dakota, which means they have little support navigating one of the most difficult times of their lives.
Now we're just asking the community to help him so he can be set free, and we'd really appreciate it, all the help we get. And it is a struggle right now.
Fortunately, a new community center in Billings is providing that space to come together and connect.
We want this to be a space not only, like I was saying, for celebration, to come together, to eat together, to dance together, but also, to heal together.
On Friday, a groundbreaking ceremony was held at the old Shrine building, now home to the Eagle Seeker Community Center.
And that's what we're doing today. Making history.
This building has a special focus on the Native American community, but it is here for the entire Billings community. And I think that that's really important, to have a space where you can gather, where you can celebrate, you can eat together, you can dance together, and just have a really great safe space for all of those activities.
A space to celebrate together and to grieve together. Support that this family has been needing.
It's horrible. There's no way to explain how it feels to lose so many people, especially such important people.
In Billings, Kelsey Marison, MTN News.
A feel-good story for you on this Friday that had several people breathing a sigh of relief and a small dog wagging its tail after it was rescued from a drain pipe.
The rescue brought a neighborhood together in support and celebration. Q2's David J. has more in tonight's Positively Montana.
Positively Montana is sponsored by Yellowstone Valley Electric Cooperative.
Here's where the ordeal started for Mocha, the long-haired dachshund. He moved this rock out of the way, crawled into this 8-inch pipe, and they say she crawled 30 feet through the pipe under the street into the neighbor's yard where she had to be rescued.
I know it doesn't feel good.
There you go. It's a day these plumbers won't soon forget, getting Mocha safely out of this pipe. Owner June Brewer says a playful rabbit from the day before is to blame.
We got her in time. We were right there when we pulled her out, my son and I.
Mocha's instincts brought her back to the pipe on Wednesday, and June knew exactly what had happened when she turned around. So she listened for Mocha through the pipe.
I can't even imagine how scary that is, down there in the dark, and she can't move. You know, she had to be scared to death. She was talking and whining, not really barking, just talking and whining.
Brewer's son figured the best person to call for the rescue was his plumber friend, who was able to locate Mocha by putting a camera down the pipe.
So I could see the dog head, and we could hear the dog. So once we knew exactly where it was at, it was safe for us to dig.
Mark Riley, owner of Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, and his excavator friend had been on retrieval missions before, but never with a live dog in danger.
I think things couldn't have gone any smoother than they did, and it helped. The neighbors came together to help with and assist in any way they could.
We'll be pulled together, hopefully spend more time, a little bit more time, stopping and talking to each other when you're out in the yard.
It was very emotional. I was so appreciative of those guys. I mean, they could have just dug down there and not worried, but he was so careful. If they would have hit that pipe, she might not be here today. She means a lot to me.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Still to come on the MTN News at 5:30 right here on Q2. Mail carriers hoping you'll leave a little something extra out for them to pick up tomorrow, all to help the hungry.
And we continue our profiles of this year's Athlete of the Year candidates with a look at West High Golden Bear Layla Bum.
The MTN 530 News continues right after this.